A Roman philosopher wrote something 2,000 years ago that would make most people uncomfortable today. He said, "You're not going to die someday. You're dying right now, one wasted hour at a time. And the worst part, he said, it's your fault, not because life is short, but because you are giving it away to things that don't deserve it." Around the year 49 AD, Seneca sat down and wrote a short essay to his father-in-law, Paulinus. It was called De Brevitate Vitae, on the shortness of life, and it opened with one of the most confrontational lines in the history of philosophy. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." Think about that. Everyone around you is complaining that life is too short. Seneca says the opposite. Life is long enough. You've been given plenty of time. The problem is you're spending it as if you had an unlimited supply. He compared it to money. If someone was hemorrhaging their wealth, handing cash to strangers, lighting coins on fire, you'd call them insane. But that's exactly what you do with your time. You hand hours to people who don't value them. You burn entire evenings on things you won't remember next week. You let other people's urgencies dictate how you spend the one resource you can never earn back. And here's what makes it worse. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. Every hour you waste is gone permanently. No refund, no extension, no second chance. As Seneca put it, people are frugal in guarding their personal property, but the moment it comes to time, they become the most wasteful spenders alive. So where does the time actually go? Seneca identified 3 categories of waste that consumed the lives of Romans 2 millennia ago, and every single one of them is worse today. The first is busyness, not productivity, busyness. There's a difference. Seneca saw people rushing from meeting to meeting, from obligation to obligation, filling every hour of the day and calling it purpose. But he said most of this activity is just motion without meaning. You can be busy every single day of your life and still waste all of it, because activity without intention is just a sophisticated form of avoidance. The second thief is pleasure-seeking, not joy, not celebration, not rest, the kind of pleasure that numbs instead of nourishes. Seneca watched Romans drown their evenings in wine and entertainment, and he said the same thing is happening to you. Every time you reach for distraction because you can't sit with yourself, you're trading a piece of your life for nothing. The third thief is the most dangerous. Anxiety, living in a future that hasn't happened yet, rehearsing conversations that may never take place, worrying about outcomes you cannot control. Seneca wrote that some people suffer more in their imagination than they ever will in reality, and that imaginary suffering steals more time than the other two combined. Now here's where Seneca makes a distinction that most people miss entirely. And honestly, this is the part that hit me hardest when I first read it. He separates people into 2 groups, the occupied and the living. The occupied are the ones with packed calendars, impressive titles, and no time for anything that actually matters. They're always needed somewhere else, always responding to someone else's agenda. They reach old age and suddenly realize they never actually lived. They were just busy. The living are different. They're not necessarily doing less, but everything they do is deliberate. They read, they reflect. They invest time in relationships that challenge them. They sit with difficult questions instead of running from them. They're present for their own lives. And Seneca delivers the knockout line. He says the part of life we really live is small. Out of your entire lifespan, the portion that actually belongs to you, the hours spent doing things that matter to you, with people who matter to you in ways you consciously chose, that portion is tiny. The rest is just existence, just running the clock down without ever stepping onto the field. That distinction between existing and living is 2,000 years old, and it's never been more relevant, because we now live in an era designed to keep you occupied. Every app, every notification, every algorithm is engineered to consume your attention without your consent. Seneca couldn't have imagined smartphones, but he diagnosed the exact problem they exploit. So let's bring this into your life right now. Seneca didn't just diagnose the problem, he prescribed a cure. And it starts with honesty. Imagine Seneca could see your screen time report. 7 hours on your phone yesterday, 2 hours on social media. He wouldn't yell at you, he would just ask one question. Is this how you would spend today if you knew it was your last? That's not a guilt trip, it's a filter. Seneca taught that the way to stop wasting time isn't willpower, it's awareness. Most people have no idea where their hours go. They couldn't tell you how they spent last Tuesday if you offered them $1,000. And that's the real tragedy. Not that life is short, but that you're unconscious for most of it. He would tell you to start paying attention. Treat every hour the way you treat money, know where it's going, decide in advance how you want to spend it, and at the end of the day, check the receipt. This is where Seneca's philosophy becomes a daily practice. Every night after his household went quiet, Seneca would review his entire day, not with judgment, not with guilt. With honesty, he asked himself 3 questions. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go right? What can I do better tomorrow? That's it. No elaborate ritual, no expensive journal, just 5 minutes of ruthless self-honesty before sleep. And the effect compounds. 1 night of review changes nothing. 7 nights changes your awareness. 30 nights changes everything. Because you start to notice patterns. You see where your time is leaking. You see which people drain you and which ones fill you up. You see the gap between how you think you spend your days and how you actually spend them. Seneca believed that most people sleepwalk through life and then panic when it's almost over. The evening review is how you wake up before it's too late. Here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, track every 30-minute block of your day. Write down exactly what you did in each one. At the end, go through the list and mark each block with one of 2 words: alive or occupied. Alive means you were present, intentional, engaged in something that mattered. Occupied means you were filling time, reacting, or checked out. The ratio will shock you, and that shock is exactly what Seneca wanted you to feel. Because the moment you see how much of your life is occupied instead of lived, you can never unsee it. And that awareness is where change begins. Seneca wrote this essay to wake people up, not after retirement, not on their deathbed, right now, today, while there's still time to spend differently. You are not running out of time, you are giving it away. And the moment you stop giving it to things that don't matter, your life gets longer. Not in years, in depth, in presence, in meaning. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it. If this changed how you think about time, subscribe for more ancient wisdom that still works today. Drop a comment telling me which part hit hardest. I read every single one.